Hello guys, and welcome to Saturday's show, live with PWIRD and our amazing host Samuel from our company. So tonight's topic is going to be on exorcisms. So Samuel is going to be talking to you about exorcisms. You guys can ask questions after. I will be in the room posting links and stuff in the room, and I will come up at the end as well. So we hope that you have a very, very good evening. We hope you enjoy this topic, and I hope that you take a lot of educational facts from it. So over to you, Samuel, and thank you for being here, everybody.
Of course, my pleasure. My pleasure. Nice to see you all. Well, I'm going to start off by saying exorcisms are something as a process that is not easy by any means. And it doesn't have to be somebody that's of the Catholic faith or Christian faith that's able to do it, but I will be touching on that subject. An exorcism is that of the process of evicting evil spirits or a general spirit. An exorcism is that of a religious term. Various countries of faiths do the process of exorcism. Christianity is one, Hinduism is number two, Islam is number three, Judaism is number four, and there's various other faiths out there that are able and also do exorcisms, but each and every one is a unique process. The term can be used in the way of getting rid of something that can be across as being negative. An exorcism can be done to a person and even a place. So if you ever hear of a cleansing, that might help you out. The main two faiths in the West that of having an exorcism done in the various different ways are Islam and various denominations of Christianity. In the 1st century AD, the Bible had accounted for Jesus being able to drive out spirits that were supposedly against God. So the Bible cast them as demons. People that were supposedly possessed by these demons had come over and had strange behavior. In many different ways during the beginnings of Christianity, people that had the intentions of driving out an evil spirit, such as a possession, were told that paganism beliefs were not that effective, and that Christianity was the only real way to exorcise demons. Also, pagans were told that they can combat the evil that the people were so terrified of to even just address. So pagans that took up the call and their views of combating evil became Christians. In a general sense, they did it because they felt there was a greater good to combating this wrong and this evil. Oftentimes in Catholic and Anglican denominations attribute possessions to that of moderate and severe mental illness. With that, though, they do accept the possibility of demonic possessions and provide special ministry in certain cases. In the Catholic Christianity, an exorcist is an ordained priest of that church. Before anything begins, an investigation is done to rule out the issues such as mental illness and the factors that can include and could explain why this person is acting the way they do. Some of the different exorcisms are solemn exorcisms, can be done by a priest during that of a baptism or done by prayers of deliverance with a bishop's permission. Minor exorcisms is ritual ritual Romanium has to be done with guidelines in which to debunk the possibilities and of explaining why a person is acting the way they are before they do an exorcism, before an exorcism begins. The priest uses prayers, icons, sacramental objects, and even some amount of relics. In the Anglican faith, or the Church of England, it has a history of classifying the needs of an exorcism as being that of a superstition. Puritans have used this, Catholics, pagans, even scholars of magic. These groups and many others have divided the church. And mentioned before, and they were superstitious. They had superstitions that have also said the need for them is to easy to explain by the need of the mental health services. And then there are those that are in the clergy have said that exorcisms are just as needed from the past as they are now, as the time being that we're on now. I guess you can say some people support exorcisms, some people don't, but they try to debunk everything before they get to the exorcism. In other words, they do everything they can to find an explanation of why a person's the way they're acting at the time. Other denominations of Christianity believe that asking for their Savior alone is the way to do an exorcism. With asking for Christ to do this miracle, that is alone is enough. The other denominations believe that holding your hands up and asking for the Lord's blessing while a church authority member to give them a blessing at the same time is all that is needed. Okay. And also, like I said, Christianity goes very far and very vast on that issue. Even with all of this, the various denominations of Christianity have certain amounts of care for the ones that have been considered to be possessed. They can oftentimes request have certain medical professionals to oversee the process of the exorcism. With this, people that do exorcisms, not always, but mostly bring trained medical professionals. Some of those include surgeons, psychiatrists, neuropsychologists, radiologists, medical doctors, sometimes gynecologists, and family physicians, and others. And here's another one I'll be touching on. In Hinduism, there are exorcisms. In many ways, it revolves around the magic and alchemy. The way the Hindu faith does exorcism is that of mantras. I cannot pronounce that. I do not know Sanskrit very well. Yajara, which can be used in Vedic and Tantric traditions. In many ways, Hinduism, they can often at times recite certain names such as Narashima and reciting scriptures. When the human Haminin, it is believed that demons can often be in times of terrible. Let me read that again. When the name of hominin, it is believed that demons can oftentimes tremble in fear of this entity. Islamic exorcisms is also called prophetic medicine. In this way, in this kind of a way, they are oftentimes refer to certain kinds of mischievous spirits, such as jinn, and sometimes a genie. There are beings that are in the air, and the beings of fire and air. They can come in human or even animal form. They can also dwell in inanimate objects. They are also known to punish humans because of certain wrongs that have been done in their past. They can oftentimes be thrown out of the body by prophetic medicine by invoking the name of God, which has been potential, which or God, sorry. They can often be at times be thrown out of their body by prophetic medicine invoking the name of God, which has the potential to stop their behavior. There can be cases where the jinn uh, is out for the revenge because of the hurting of another jinn, urinating on it, or even throwing throwing hot water at it. With all of this, a person can be ripe for possession from a jinn or genie, whatever you want to call it. An exorcism is ready. When an exorcism is ready to happen, they must get rid of everything in the room that can cause the distraction: gold pieces, gold jewelry, pictures, and even some amount of music, even some certain musical instruments. In theory, this allows for the angels to enter the room. All of this is done by a healer, which is a mediator. The mediator can sometimes go into dialogue with the spirit of various subjects. The healer then cleans every part of the room that the spirit is in, including himself. With all this, the healer starts to read from the Quran and the verses that are within it. With Jewish exorcisms, it can involve things such as burning herbs, candles, subjecting the possessed to be submerged in water. Oftentimes, the reason a person that has been possessed is because of the false prophets and other mediums. The reason why Jewish people think that this is because it opens up the door to for someone to succumb to being possessed by evil spirits and evil demons. The key to getting rid of bad spirits and demons is for a rabbi or another holy Jewish person to do it. The holy person, the holy person must do what he can to purify himself. Oftentimes, the rabbi will have dialogue with the entity to find out what it may want or other things. The reason for the dialogue is to find the name of it. So the rabbi or holy person can be effective in their exorcism and to overpower the entity. While doing the exorcism, the holy person will read from Psalms and other spiritual texts. Successful exorcism can be that of a bloody toe or a fingernail. Sometimes during violent exorcism, the entity can leave the body through the throat, and rectum, and even the vagina. And also the urinary meatus, which is of the tip of the penis. Other types of exorcism can be that of pagan rituals, but this information is hard to come by. The reason it is hard to come by is because pagans and various other alternative faiths have their own individual styles and concept of how they do it. They can use certain oils and incense in the process of even food to appease the entity before the conflict can begin, to make the entity leave on good terms. When they do exorcisms, they oftentimes guard this information. Guard this information because they wish it to be private. They also do not want certain things known to the rest of the world because they wish to keep their own culture and spiritual beliefs different from others. The pagans have had their history taken from them. When it comes to exorcisms, it is a spiritual and faith type way. They are quick to take up arms and to defend those that need help. In a general sense, an arm doesn't necessarily mean a firearm, but a magical or even a spiritual item that can be used to combat this wrongdoing, evil, possession, whatever you want to call it. The subject that I've covered on exorcisms is that of person to person and culture to culture. Many of these types of exorcisms are not covered because of it oftentimes being word of mouth and passing traditions onto younger generations. Sometimes exorcisms are oftentimes done by a holy person of some kind of faith, and then there are people who are natural type of that know how to do it naturally. Many cultures, when doing an exorcism, will go out of their way to learn the entity's name to use it against them. There can be various reasons why the entity comes in the first place. And there are times the entity that has possessed the person is not necessarily that of evil. When many other culture, with many other cultures, though, the living in the supernatural worlds should not go hand in hand and with one another. In summary, cultures from across the globe can often at times, have their own ways and styles on the issue of exercising the possessed. Whether your point of view on how this is done, the reality is the helping the possessed has to get done in the right, correct way that it must be done. But like I said, in regards to exorcisms, everybody has their own style. Everybody has their own way of doing things. Some people have had huge amounts of training in various different arts. And there's other people out there that believe that it should be done in nature, in a closed room, a church, synagogue, temple, whatever you want to call it. And then there's other people who will do it on the streets to help others. So, how can I put this? You got to get the job done. When the job gets done, that's what matters. You have to be there for that person who is a victim of what is going on whenever it comes to exorcisms. And be there for those friends and be there for those families. And then you've also got I guess you could say, the medical professionals, because if something goes wrong physically, that has the potential of hurting somebody, whether the possessed or the mediator of the process of exorcisms. So, do you guys have any questions by chance? Well, like I said, on the issue of exorcisms, it's something that has to be done. Yeah, you have to have some amount of training or at the least research on how to do it. And like I said, there's various different forms of what's to be done. And the biggest thing, and you can also have, from what I've heard, Shintoism in Japan, which is an amazing faith. They've been known to do stuff like that, such as exorcisms in that sort of way. I definitely get where you're coming from, Drew. Doing it on holy ground, that would help, and that would help immensely. But like I said, there is other cultures. Their version of holy ground can be that of a mountain, the trees, the mountains, the woods, various different other things. And so I do get where you're coming from, even a church, a temple, or a synagogue. But as long as the job's gotten done, then that's what really matters. I am really sorry to hear all of this. But like I said, is there anybody have any other questions that I might be able to answer? That makes perfect sense, Sherry. Every person that's touched by God or something like that has that potential And if you think about it, the more natural the setting, if you think about it, it's more the holier the area is. So, say, like, if you're in a church area, that can be considered holy land, a holy ground, and everything. Uh, so, or even natural environments, maybe even a desert, if you think about it. If it's done the way it's supposed to be done in a safe, not necessarily a safe environment, but various different ways. But that's what really matters.
Yeah, see, like with me being a pagan witch and learning in the shaman way, when I go and do exorcisms, yes, I will use the words of the Lord, but I'll also use the words that I use within my faiths and what I believe in, and use them in with the prayers. I use things such as the holy water, but then I've got the holy water that's made by myself, which is through the witch way as well. So I very much like use things like silver and copper and coal and stuff like that. Utensils that are very strong and getting rid of energies. Because when another thing that you've got to remember with exorcisms as well is every negative energy you come into contact with are completely different. They've got different personalities, they've got different characters. You can't do the same exorcism on all of them. You would preach the same way, but you would have to bring different tactics into each exorcism because each demon, each negative energy is removed different ways. They're not all removed the same way. You've got higher class demons, you've got low class demons, you've got middle class demons, you've got dukes, lords, gods. You've got so many different types of negative energies that just one way would not work. So you have your main category, which is the exorcism prayers, which is the Saint Michael, or the long version of the Lord's Prayer, them sort of things, and you put that in. But as I said, I use my witch faith as well and my beliefs in that. I will bring things such as different tree barks and different herbs and different materials, crystals, all sorts of things, because these are all powerful tools and they're all tools that come from nature, from earth, which is touched and loved by God. So, yes, the most powerful way that people believe is by going through your faiths, which is in church or a mosque or whatever. But there are other ways that you can do exorcisms. You don't have to be part of a church or something, and you don't have to be trained by priests to be able to exorcism. Okay, you've got just done a lot of research, a lot of studying, a lot of practice as well, actually testing it out. Because there's no point you going in there blind-eyed and not knowing what you're doing. Even when you do know what you're doing, you can be attacked. My sis in the room today watched two of the videos that she see where I was ridding 6 demonic spirits from someone's house, 3 portals, and I'd say 5 demons and a demon dog. Okay, but I say 6 demons because they're all that. Okay, so in the prospect of running up to that, I was attacked beforehand, and I still went in there and I still fought and I still got them out. Okay, but when you're doing exorcisms, it's not something you just run into and you start doing. You've got to learn and practice. You've got to be able to be ready, mind, body, and spirit. Okay, because if you're not, they will knock you the hell down. Okay, because when you're doing your exorcism, they're at the most strongest because they have got that will to want to stay in this realm. They've got that will to take this realm over. So their anger is so high, their need is so high. So you need to be physically and emotionally ready because if they can get in your head, they can manipulate you, they can make you do things, they can take you over sometimes. And I'm not saying that you don't get took over when you're in your strongest mind, you do if things don't go to plan. In my case, I was possessed and I had to be exorcismed because when I jumped out of the loft that this spirit was chasing me from, trying to bring him out and lure him out, I landed inside the pentagram circle that I'd made to catch him. So going into that and him coming down with me, he was able to possess me. and I started talking in Arabic and cursing and just saying lots of really random things that I would not know. I lifted a guy 3 times the size of me off of his feet. I pushed another one of my team members across the floor. I wanted to kill them. And if I had been let go of and the guy that had hold of me didn't do what he did, people probably would have been hurt that day very badly. When we were doing that investigation at the end and we looked at ourselves, we were bruised, we were bit. We'd had so many things done to us. It's unbelievable. This is not a joke. When I first started doing this, I had people going, "Oh, you're fake, you're this, you're that." Until you actually face the truth and the reality of what the paranormal really is and what it stands for, you've got no room to judge. Okay, I've stood in a room and I've fighted evil and darkness, 6 of them in one place with 2 other people, using our witch faith and using our Christian faith. Okay, so for us, when we went there, it wasn't just a Bible and a cross and, the holy water. We had herbs, we had different souls, we had different tree barks, we had red brick to close the portals with other materials into it. We had planned for a month solid. I did a month solid to get a plan into place to get rid of this, because there was a 3-year-old child that was being affected by these negative spirits and she was getting frightened. And before going up there, I was attacked by one of these energies through my friend being on panel with me. Okay, so this spirit was able to attach through knowing my voice, knowing who I was. And it come here when I was attacked. I had upside down crosses on my neck. I've got scarring. Doesn't quite look like that anymore, but I've got scarring where I'd had the fingerprints indented so deep into my skin it's scarred. I had fingerprints. I had upside down crosses. Somebody was on the video call and witnessed this happening. Witnessed this actually physically happening with my hands nowhere near me. They could see the crosses appearing on my neck. By the time I'd got up to Vanessa's, literally from the back of my neck, all the way from the back, all the way around here, it was just a collar of flesh. All my skin had been ripped away. My skin was constantly weeping. When I went and done this fight, it got a bit better for a while, but this energy decided to follow me home and continued to have this problem with him for several months till I did manage to get rid of him. But by then I was very, very sick. And I ended up being rushed to hospital because I had blood poisoning and I nearly died. He literally wanted to end me. He put a death symbol on the window, symbolizing that he was going to kill me. That was his attempt. That was what he tried to do. And when you're doing this sort of work, it's not a joke. When people's lives are in stake, at risk, especially children, as Samuel said, you do need to know what you're doing. And you do need to be able to walk in there and be able to get that job done. Because if you don't get the job done and you leave, you've just made things 10 times worse.
Oh,
It doesn't matter
yes.
how much it bashes you down. It doesn't matter how much it takes your energy. You've got to keep fighting. I did. I did for nearly 15 hours. I fighted and I fighted and I fighted for 15 hours to get rid of these spirits. Not to
Oh, yeah.
mention the work that I'd done beforehand as well, trying to help. And exorcisms and possessions and demonic spirits, they're very real. They are as real as what we are. These exorcisms happen. People do get possessed. These energies are not weak. These energies are not stupid. They know what they're doing. They know how to be in control. And they will fight till the end. They will not let up. In some cases, they do win because the haunting is that far gone that there is no helping it anymore, and people do have to end up leaving their homes and stuff because of these sort of things. Some people are haunted for years and years to come because it's no matter how many times they've had exorcisms, it don't matter how many times they've had things done. Some of people, just like buildings, can't get rid of these energies. Okay, so first, don't go looking for them sort of energies. Secondly, when you think something's not right with you and you feel that you may have some sort of negative energy attached to you, don't sit and wait. Go and seek the help as soon as possible. Because the longer you leave it and the longer you think that you're okay, the more that becomes controlled of your body. That
That's
becomes more controlled of your home. They don't just come into your house and just sit there and watch you. They'll toy with you. First, it'll start off with little bangs and little knocks. Then it turns into shoves and pushes and children being spoke to. Then it turns into you and your partners or your friends or your family arguing constantly. Then there's this hatred and this sense of being separated from each other because one side might believe it, the other side don't see it. You know, so much comes through these sort of hauntings and through possession. Some fail to see it, some don't want to see it or don't want to believe it. Some believe that they're strong enough to get over it. And the fact is nobody is strong enough to continue having a spirit attached to them or to their home. You do need to get hope. You do need to get help. And the sooner, the better. The minute you start feeling something's not right, you get these strange smells like burning or sulfur or a flesh, sort of rotten flesh smell. Them sort of smells are signs of demonic possession and demonic haunting. Okay. So when you're getting them sort of smells and you're getting these funny little things going on in your house, that is when you should start seeking help before you get to that level. Because when you get to the level of possession, there are four levels of possession, and the last level is where you're fully possessed. You no longer have any control of your body. You are not you anymore. That spirit is in control of you. Okay, your character's changed. The way that you eat's changed. Some of you don't eat. You know, you'll talk strange. You'll do strange things. By then, if it's in really bad cases, climbing the walls. Um, Making very screwed up noises out of your mouth that you just can't explain. I went through this just by being possessed for 45 minutes. It scared the hell out of the people in the house. It made a non-believer a believer after witnessing that. And you know, it's not a game. These spirits can kill you, not necessarily coming up to you and strangling you. They can do it through manipulating your mind, suicide thoughts, all sorts of things. Okay, they work to destroy you. That is their basis. They're there to destroy you. They're there to capture your soul. They're there to take you to where they want you to go. Okay, so you've got to understand that
Oh, you are definitely
possession
correct.
and exorcism is a very real thing, and it's a very serious thing, and it's not something that's a joke in the paranormal field, not at all.
You definitely, Sherry. You unfortunately, you're too correct. I definitely agree with you. What I was covering and existentially, I guess you can say, is the various cultures in that sort of way. I didn't cover enough on the little close-ups that go along with it. But the thing is, and you did perfectly. When it comes to exorcisms and everything, You have to know what you're doing. Maybe even taking an apprenticeship, and that's just my opinion. I'm not an expert. My opinion is going with somebody if there is the need to be with someone, but you need to be more careful in the next 16 people that you're going to be coming across. From what I did a paper a couple of weeks ago for the broadcast on this, on the issue of demons and the different types of demons and everything. And as you said, you have to have a certain, yeah, if you have a certain kind of demon, like a water demon, so like Leviathan, that's possessing another person, you have to have a water type exorcist to match that. And it goes vice versa on various different ways. You have to have the right person for the right job, if you want to call it that.
Yeah,
I mean,
and that's what I'm saying. Not it's like I wouldn't be able to go into every single haunting and possession and be able to help those people. There are certain
mhm,
characteristics to mine. So see, like my sort of possessions would be to do with witch and cult faith,
mhm,
um, anything to do with nature, spirits that are summoned by nature. Somebody that's been possessed by a spirit that is of the evil of God, and the opposite to God would be, done by, Catholic or Christian. You've got so many different people that perform exorcisms and for different
mhm,
reasons. Like I would not be able to go in and do what a Christian priest or anyone would do. I specifically work for the possessions and the exorcisms of people that have got nature based evil spirit and spirits that have been summoned by witchcraft and things like the Ouija board and stuff like that. That's what I work with, and that's what this case was. There was an Ouija board that was used very years and years back by the person's relatives, and there was a lady that is her stepmom that is a witch, and something was put with on her. So the house become very negative.
mhm,
So for me, everybody's different and everybody performs in a different way. Okay, like that, like you said, Sam. We all perform our exorcisms and our ways differently because we've got different beliefs. Yes, I believe in God, but I believe in God through nature and through the universe. Where a person that's Christian believes God through the church and through the cross and through everything else. So
mhm.
even though I've got that belief there, I surely do work for the ones that have been taken over or possessed by earthbound
And yeah,
spirits of the
definitely.
earth.
I mean, if you have something like a jinn, you're going to want a mediator, such as a cleric from the Muslim Islamic faith and everything. You want to if it's a jinn, if you want a fire, if you go in against a fire type entity, you want to have something that is specialist. But like I said, with you, you're a specialist, Sherry. You are definitely a specialist, and that's why your name is trusted very eloquently. Uh,
Yeah, Doctor
Pop
Death.
Pop is one of the toughest guys I've ever seen
Oh yeah.
on the internet. I mean, and a nice guy, but I'm sure he has his functions and he does them well.
Like for me, I don't believe in all this. I don't believe in all this jargon that you've just got to have the faith in God to be able to do those things. You can do these things if you've got a belief. If you
Hmm.
believe in your faith, if you believe in the tools and in yourself, you can do
Hmm.
that. It's having the strength, not having the fear, and it's believing in what you're doing. Okay, anybody can do that, but you do need to have training. Or
Hmm.
you do need to have at least researched for a long time and experienced it and tried it first. Anybody that goes and going, "Right, I'm going to go and start doing exorcisms," and they've never experienced it, you're not going to have a clue how to stop them. You're not going to you're not going to know about their characters. Like anybody will know that when it comes to getting rid of spirits like demonics and negative energies,
Hmm.
you need to know their names. You you need to know their characteristics. You need to know where they're from. You need to know what level they are. You need to understand the reasons for why they are there and what they are there to do. You've got to be able to know so much about them first before you can
Yes.
even get to the core of getting rid of them.
And that's definitely
Hello,
why
Eric.
and that's why PWI is very strong, because the research and everything that goes along with it. You can't, because if you're going against, let's say you're going against a wood spirit or wood sort of entity and everything, you're going to want yourself a person of nature. You want to match them tit for tat, but you also want to combat everything and have the tools ready. But it all begins on research, like you said, and you nailed that on the head perfectly. Um, but like I said, some people can do it, some people can't. There's nothing wrong if you can't do it. But if you can't
Oh
do
no,
it, stay
definitely
out of
not.
it. Yeah, if there's not.
Doing exorcisms and doing possessed people is not for everybody.
Mhm,
You know, it's not just going in there and putting a cross on somebody's head and just casting something out. There is a battle, there is a fight, you get attacked.
mhm,
Um, you know, in some cases really badly. It you've got to be in control of that, because as that person could become even worse,
mhm.
worsely possessed. You know what I mean? Like, you can't go in there and half do a job when you're doing an exorcism or you're trying to exorcism a person. Okay, when you're there to get rid of it, and you don't leave
Yes,
until you do. And
yes.
you know, it don't matter how tired you are or how much your will's given up, you've got to stay strong and you've got to keep going. I fighted for 15 hours to get rid of
Mhm,
these spirits out of this person's house, and they had a 3-year-old child. I was literally, like I said to you, I had burn marks all the way around my neck. Upside down crosses were carved into my neck. Somebody actually see this happen.
mhm.
You know what I mean? And they were like, "What the hell's that appearing on your neck?" And this was from the spirit that was warning me before I went up there. I still went up there and fought those spirits and got rid of them. It took
Yes.
me 15 hours.
Mhm,
Yes, I had some problems for a couple of months after here, but I did finally get rid of him through having to do rituals, having to do several exorcisms on my house to try and get rid of him and to get him to go. And in the end, he did. But in the course of that, I nearly died. I got blood poisoning through what was on my neck. I'd been
mhm.
turned away by 2 doctors. They didn't know what it was. I was like,
Yes.
you know, they didn't give me the right medication. I ended up being rushed to hospital because my eyes were rolling in the back of my head. Okay. And I come in there, I was that close to getting septicemia because of what
Wow.
had happened to my neck. And
Well,
I was lucky to have been caught at that time. My mum had to come and pick me up from the hospital and take me home and stay with me. Hello, coffin. Hello,
well.
cat. You know,
Mhm,
exorcisms are dangerous. And like, you can't go in there and use the same tool for everything. Yes, you need a cross. Yes, you need a Bible. But there are so many different ways that you can perform exorcisms, because there are so many different characters of people. Okay. But the main thing is no demon, no demonic is the same. Every demon and demonic spirit need a different way to be rid of. Okay. You can't go
mhm.
doing the same ritual and same way on all of them, because it won't work. They're all in higher levels, they're all in different classes. So,
Yes.
you know, you do. And the main thing is, you won't get rid of a spirit if you don't understand what it is and find out. The true fact is if you ask a demonic spirit 3 times, it has to answer you with its name, because it's the mock of the Trinity. It can't go over that. It has to answer. In some cases, when you ask the first time, it might disappear and it'll toy with you for so long. But in the end, it will give its name up to you, or it will do things or give signs and things that are familiar through the studying and the research you've done. So you'll
Mhm.
look at those persistics and it'll narrow them down to so many of them. And you read those like you'll read those names out and you'll get that feeling, you'll get that reaction from them, that like they do weird things. Okay, so you know, if you're not familiar with exorcism, you've not looked into exorcism, and you've never performed an exorcism, don't, because you're just going to make people's lives even worse.
Oh yeah, definitely. The closest I've never gone that far, but the closest I've ever come to that was a friend of mine, neighbor, invited me over, and with her, I go in there and she serves me some water or something like that, and I looked at her and I go, "When was last? How often you've had these spirits in here?" She literally told me, "I thought I." never thought somebody would validate that. What do you mean? I've seen this for 3 years in my apartment.
No ODSD.
I've
Carry on.
seen I've seen this she says she's been having them 4 years in her apartment, and she's literally right next door to me. And with her, I go in there and I say, "Can I come back?" She says, "What do you mean? Can I just walk in?" She goes, "Yeah." So some of you guys know about me that I do alchemy. Some of you do. And I go and I get a potion. And this was a different potion. It's called a shadow potion. I go in there with my shadow potion because I can feel spirits, but I can't see them and I can't pinpoint them. But she was able to pinpoint them. And so I go in there. I go in there and I said, "Is this the guy?" And she goes, "Yeah." And I'm like, I say something in Latin. I can't remember what I said. And I take some of my potion and I call it a Derringer because it's 2 shots. And I launch it at her and she's freaked out in so many ways. And I said, "Where's the next one?" She goes, "How the hell did you do that?" I'm a little different. Just call me that. And so I was able to cleanse, but nothing like what you did. I've done it. I've shut down portals. I can cleanse places. But as far as exorcisms, I can't. But the one thing I can do is transfer energy towards the exorcist. I can and with an exorcism, like most of you know, it takes a lot of sheer energy, raw energy, and if it's not coming in, and if it's not coming into the exorcist, they're going to either they're going to be successful or just feel like passing out and not get the job done. With me, I can transfer energy into that exorcist and make it to where they have a better chance of getting rid of it. But as far as me doing an exorcism from another person, I really can't. But like I said, I'm good to bring around. But as far as being able to do that, now I can ban a spirit. I can ban certain spirits or entities, whatever you want to call them, that are outside of the body. You, on the other hand, you're a specialist compared to me. I'm general. And that's one of the reasons why I love you half to death, Sherry.
Yeah, see, like when you do an exorcism, it's not just about getting rid of the spirits, it's the preparation after you've done it as well. You have to cleanse and bless the home,
of course,
put different salts and put the holy water over. Obviously, in my case, because I'm a witch, I've used things like red bricks and that because red brick is very good for closing portals, along with like black coal and other bits, and you have to go around and sage, you have to pray, you do the St. Michael and that over and over again, the full version, you know, you've got the cross going, you've got the candle going, you're doing all of that fine, and then it's not finished. Like I said, then you've got to start going around and cleansing and blessing the house. So then you put stuff like the windows are opened when you're doing the exorcisms because you're wanting the energy to move out of the house. So you
yes.
open anything that is that can close. Okay, you open it all up because then it releases any of the energy. Once you've done that, you have to close everything up. You have to bless everything. You have to holy water everything. You have to pray over everything and sage. Then you have to put different crystals down. In my case, I had to go and put crystals around the house to make a circle and done a ritual to put a barrier over the house so that nothing could come over those lines. So for me, even though the exorcism itself took 15 hours, altogether, by the time I'd finished, it took me 4 days to have got everything into place the way it needed to be. And they had to do certain things to keep on top of it. Because when you go, it's not about that's it, it's done. You still have to keep that regime going up. You still have to burn your sage. You still have to pray. You still have to put salts down to replace the salt that you've done and things like that. It doesn't stay there forever. You do need to keep replacing it. So I will always give my people material that they can continue to use. And, and I've always said, if you get any further problems or if you need me to come and help you to do that because you're unsure, I can come back and show you for the second time. And I did. I was with Vanessa for over 2 months. Okay. We done numerous investigations on that house when it turned good. And we've got two very short videos of about 20 minutes each of the night that I was doing the exorcisms. Sadly, when the exorcism started, all of the video was cut out. I was taken over. I had to have an exorcism done on me because I landed inside the star that we were trapping him in, and he went into my body. And let's just say shit hit the fan, and there was a lot of scared people there by the time I'd finished. And it's definitely an experience that I will excuse me, that really does choke me up. It's an experience that will never ever leave me, and it was an experience that nearly made me give all of this up.
Yes,
But it
definitely.
didn't. If anything, it made me stronger.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I can't go to that extent. I know my
Me three
limits.
souls.
I can't do that. I can do certain other things, like make a seal. I'm pretty good at that. I have other potions that basically you have to let before you clean up. Whenever you're dealing with the job and you stop the job, then you got to clean up. In the way of putting the sage out there, whether it's Palo Santo sage or something like that, then you also have to have the cleansing, and also in a metaphoric sense, you sweep your place and sweep the entity out. That's whenever you make the place a lot better. In other words, you're cleaning up the remains of what you got rid of, if you want to call it that. And like I said,
And
I'm good at.
it's not just demonic spirit
Oh yeah,
that possess
definitely.
you. It's normal spirits can possess you as well.
Yes.
Normal spirits can be just as bad as demonic spirit if you do the wrong thing to them. That,
Hmm.
any spirit is capable of taking your body over and making you do what it wants you to do. Believe me, it don't matter if you're demonic or if you're not. Okay,
Hmm.
it's more known for it to be demonic and negative energies that do that, but believe me, there are normal spirits that do the same thing.
Hmm. But that's,
So
yeah, definitely. And like I said, I
makes
mean,
sense.
once the job is done, then it's time to clean up and get the remains of that entity out of the home in that sort of way. So what I do is I do a general. It's metaphoric, but I do a sweeping. But I chant. I guess you can say I chant in my head to get rid of it and to get it out of the house. Then that's whenever I put up the seals. I do it by a potion. I call it my defensive potion. It's a seal maker. So if and then there's also, like you said, uh, get closing off the portal that was able to drive it in. Then there's another issue of pre-possession. I guess you'd call it that. Is the attachments of certain entities before the possession happens, and if you can stop that before it starts, or even close a
That's what I'm
portal off.
saying. When you
Yes, I'm
have the
agreeing with
first
you.
little signs like the smells and just the little
Hmm.
things that are happening, that's when you should start looking into getting the help. A lot of people make that mistake and think, oh, it's okay, it's normal. And they leave it. And then they wonder why it gets worse and it gets worse and it gets worse and their relationships are
Hmm.
becoming worse and everything doesn't seem to be going right. When you've got these smells and you've got these things happening, that's for a reason. And it's definitely not an energy that
Hmm.
you want to be
No,
keeping in your home.
no, yeah, definitely. You don't want that. And it's one of the reasons why. Well, like I said, I can do certain things, but you're so much more and everything because not only are you valuable, you're also trained and you've done it very well with it, and you know what you do. Know what you do. You know your limits.
I'm trained in the way as being self-taught.
Hmm.
Okay, so I've done a lot of studying and a lot of research into it. I've not had a teacher to learn me to do any of the stuff that I've done. I've learned that through
So,
myself, through the way the
hmm.
spirits are, through what I've been shown by certain spirit energies that are
Hmm.
here to teach and to learn me. And all of my stuff's been done through myself. I've not had teachers. Yes, I've looked in books, I've looked online, I've done research, I do courses. Yeah, I have, but like
Hmm.
a lot of people that go into this sort of thing, they've had some sort of teacher or somebody that's helped them to get to that level. I haven't. I had to learn the hard way and learn what's right, what's wrong, and
Yes.
build myself that way. It's only now, since joining YouTube and finding my pups, that I'm starting to have my shaman training. My witch stuff is the one thing that's been the most relevant along with my paranormal, but it's all self-taught. It's not
Hmm.
that I've sat down with hundreds of people and they've learnt me how to be this or be that. I haven't, so like when people come in and like they might say certain words to me or they might say certain things and I'll look at them confused because they're talking in the
Hmm.
concept of somebody that's trained them and
Yes.
learned. I've not had that, so it's completely alien to me. I've taught and learnt
Hmm.
myself the way that I know I can do it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So,
I'm the same way. I'm the same
and I
way
don't,
as you.
I don't believe that just because you're self-taught, it means you're not capable of doing these things, because you are. If you study and you believe and you love what you do enough, you can
Hmm.
do it. You've
Yes.
just got
And
to put lots and lots of time of studying and don't just go into it. Study, read, write, do
hmm
courses, do things that are going to keep your mind active in them situations.
yes, and definitely there's no argument. I'm
Yeah,
self-taught in most everything I do, but whenever I make up a potion, let's say what I do is I take my right hand out and I sense and I do what I can sense on the herbs that I'm getting for that sort of thing. And that's what I taught myself how to do that. And whenever,
exactly. And we are still
yeah,
learning, aren't we? Really, even though we're
it
very
never
educated
stops.
in like we're very educated in a lot of areas. Yes, we are. Of course, we are. We're still learning as well in some situations. You know what I mean? Like I'll admit, in the ufology and the cryptozoology, for instance, that's very new to me. That's something that I've always believed in, but it's something
Hmm.
that I've only just like recently started diving in. But because of my knowledge, my studying, and what I do, I've become very good at talking
Hmm.
about it. Okay, my paranormal's always been in my life. Spirits have always been in my life. My witchcraft's always been in my life, but I've done my witchcraft a different way. Most
Hmm.
people have been in a coven or been in something to guide them. I didn't. I wasn't that person. I wanted to be on my own and do it on my own. And I'm coming to that point in my life now where I enjoy being me, and I'm always going to be a natural witch. But I would like to learn from others.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? To
And
learn the proper way. Like I say, I'm a pagan witch and I know certain things, but I've never been part of a pagan colony, so I don't know everything about paganism. So I would
mhm,
like to be able to talk to people that are open to that and learn the right way that they do it and my way. I'm not saying that what I've done is not right. It is, and it's still a faith,
mhm,
and I'm still what I am, and I'm very good at it. But I've got to that point in my life now where I'm like, do you know what? I would just like to know a little bit more.
oh yeah, and that's all
You
of
know what I mean?
us.
So
That's definitely all of us. There's no argument for me whatsoever. Like with me, on a different note, with me, I might find out three things whenever it comes to the occult altogether. Then I notice I didn't know 75 things that go along with it. So that's why I try to learn. Was I the best at academics? No, I wasn't. But whenever it came to these subjects, from the paranormal, cryptozoology, and ufology, I love this stuff.
yeah,
I mean, I love the work that goes along with it. And also, you have to be who you are. True and through, you have to be who you are. And you cannot pretend to be something you're not, because if you do, um, it's going to backfire on you. And I love the idea of exorcisms. I love the idea of it. Um, I've seen one, but I've been part of one, but I have not done the actual thing. The only thing I was doing is transferring energy into the exorcist to give them an edge on that sort of thing. That's the closest I was able to do. And then I was part of the cleanup. I was part of the cleanup of the remnants of it. So, like I said, if you make a mess, you got to clean it up. You got to
oh
get
yeah,
it back the way
definitely.
it
It's not
was.
something that you can just do and make it go wrong and then just walk
Yes.
away. You have to finish it.
Mm-hmm.
That there's people's lives and homes at risk. This isn't just you going into a place and doing a normal investigation and trying to understand why a spirit is here. This
Yes.
spirit is here for a specific reason. It has been torturing, it has been doing bad things, it's been making their lives hell. They want it gone. They're scared. They're petrified. They don't want it around them. So the last thing
Yes.
they want is somebody coming in there that does a half-done job.
Yes. That's why you did the cleanup. You, as you say, you research what's going on, number one. Number two, you get the right people for the right job. Number three, you debunk anything and everything you can. And if there's a logical explanation for it, other than what do you call it, spirituality or whatever you want to call it, then you debunk it as much as humanly possible. Now, this is my understanding, but my understanding is before you go to battle, you know your enemy. And that's how it goes. And
That
then
is how it goes. It is with demonics.
and that's why the research that I do the way I do, and that's why you do that, and you keep going and you keep sliding through it. Then while the exorcism is supposed to be the last option of last options, because you have to make sure if this is what it needs, because you don't know if you're going to be hurt or something like that. Because once you get it out, where's it going to go? If you give it an area to get out, that's different. But if you screw up, or I'm not saying you did, but in case something happens that wasn't of your liking, you're the one who could be possessed and everything. That's why once it's out, then you do what it takes. Then after that comes the cleanup, and then you got to close off the portals, get the energy out, and then seal up your place and cleanse it if you can.
Yeah.
And so
and that's what we've done. We've done all of that.
And that's what I do. I'm the guy afterwards. Or I transfer energy to myself, to the exorcist, the one who's saying the verses or whatever they do in that sort of way. Like I said, I'm not an exorcist, but I can cleanse things. Yes.
They preach. That is what they're doing. They're preaching. They're putting the power of the spirit into that home. They're removing the unwanted energy that should not be there. That is what they're doing. They're banishing. They're taking that energy and putting it back to where it came from, sort of thing. You know what I mean? So,
yes, ma'am. Definitely.
Yeah.
But like I said, everybody's got their own unique style, their own unique way. But added on to it, sometimes you got to find a different exorcism for the different type of spirit, for the entity. Because you can have one way of this and it's not going to work. If you have like I said, the right exorcist for the right entity, then you have the shot. And you can never let your guard down during any of it, and never underestimate them one bit. Because if you underestimate them, it's going to bite you in the ass. There's no getting around it. And even if you do the exorcism right, then there's the chance, even if you do it right, you still got to get it out of the residence. Then if you do an outdoor exorcism, it's different, but it can work because there it's out of the body and everything and out in nature, which will disperse it. And so that's my opinion. But so like if you're doing it in a grassy knoll or something, that's an easier sort of thing, because once the spirit's out.
Yeah. And that's what you would normally have to do. Like when you reverse it out of the house and you remove it and revoke it from the house and stuff like that, you would go and do a cleansing and blessing around outside as well to make sure that it's not left there. And you would put a barrier that it can't cross, which is what we did.
Yes.
And because any energy has got that technique to be able to come back if it wanted to. Okay, like there is nobody in this world that can stop an energy coming back. But you can do things and put things into place to sustain that and hopefully to demolish that, you know what I mean? And in our case, it did. And even today, 3 years later, Vanessa and Kevin have still got a lovely, calm, pleasant home. The little girl is now sleeping in her bedroom and has been for a couple of years now. She's comfortable. They're happy. There isn't any problems anymore. Yeah, they've got the normal spirits and stuff there, but all of the negative it's not there anymore. It hasn't been there
Mhm.
since I've been there and got rid of it. And
Yes,
to
definitely.
me, it's like people say, like, why did you go back into it after being attacked? Because it's my passion, it's my love, and it's made me
Mhm.
want to understand it more and why they do what they do.
Mhm.
And yeah, at the time it scared me after, and it did make me think, I want to leave this. Is this really for me? But I didn't, because the true fact is my heart is paranormal. Who I am, and I am, I guess, like people say, I've got I've got balls of gold because I walk around cemeteries and I walk around woods on my own. But I've learned to
Mhm.
not be in fear of this sort of stuff.
Yes.
Okay, because I see it as they're no different to me. Okay, so I don't fear them, and it's good to not fear them, because when you've got fear, that's when things can go wrong. Because
Mhm.
especially with negative energies, because they pick up on that and they feed on that. So it's always good to, you know, be positive and be strong minded when you're doing this sort of work. You have to be.
Yes, definitely. There's no, I cannot successfully argue that to save my life, what you just said. I really can't. But I'm saying, you prepare, know your enemy, study up on your enemy, find out who your enemy is, bust your tail end to get the idea and go. And sometimes, and this sounds a little hokey maybe, but sometimes practice what you're going to be doing with the person
Yeah.
and everything.
Yep.
Because if you can prevent, because what happens when it comes out, that's different. Now, but like I said, you have to prepare in the most strenuous of ways, because if you're not, you're done,
No, no,
and that
it's
person's
not
done.
even just preparing your tools and stuff. It's preparing yourself as
Oh
well, like
yeah.
I said, mind, body, and spiritually. Look, wise. Like when I know that I've got that sort of thing to do, I will have salt baths. I will sage and
Hmm.
cleanse myself. I will do certain rituals to enhance my energy. I will
Hmm.
call upon my guardians and those that protect me when I'm doing that stuff as well, because I know
Yes,
that
ma'am.
certain energies that are around me can jump in
Yeah.
and protect me at the right time. You know.
Well,
That's why when what happened to me at that house, it didn't
hmm.
turn out as bad as it should have, because of Aura being there and Darius being there. But I was hurt and I was injured, and I think through them being involved in my life and being part of me,
Hmm.
and being there and keeping me strong, I believe that got me through my attack, and I believe that's
Yes,
why I
ma'am.
didn't die. I didn't die because,
Hmm.
I know, like, some people are probably looking at and go, "Oh my god, like, what is she talking about?" But I do believe that I'm needed for the work that I do,
Hmm.
and I am
Yes.
valuable, like all of you guys are. Okay, and me, Aura, we have that connection, and we have had since birth. And she will go to any level to protect me, and she did. Even in that investigation, she was fighting as well,
Hmm.
removing the energies and doing what she was doing. And it is difficult, especially when you are connected to a spirit in that way, because I could feel everything she felt. She could feel everything I could feel. She's
Hmm.
very powerful, very strong. And, you know, I think, like, I'm not saying I'm not physically or emotionally, strong enough to do the exorcism. I am. Of course I am. But I do believe that the reason I'm so successful is through having aura and that as well, because she's very powerful, and
Hmm.
I think she
Well,
helps me through those things.
I have to get off of here. I had something come up with my family. I apologize to that for
Yeah, no,
this.
that's fine. Anyway, we was finished anyway. I was just nattering on. We
Yes,
have
ma'am.
been on just over an hour, so
Yes, ma'am. All right. I will talk to you later. And thank you, everyone, for watching this. It's been an honor for me to talk to you people. You guys are nothing more than wonderful. And my big boss, too. And love her half to
thank you.
death. Well, it's kind
And
of
thank
hard
you for
not
coming
to.
up, Samuel.
Yes,
Thank you
ma'am.
for coming up and doing your show. It's been amazing again, and a very good topic for you to be
Thank you.
sharing with the guys. Thank you for doing that.
All right. You guys take care.
Love and light, and I'll talk to you very soon. So yeah, I'm going to come off in a minute, guys, but I just want to say that obviously, like, you guys are amazing at what you do. And if there are new people coming into this field, please don't be so quick to rush into everything and want to do everything straight away, okay? Be sensible, as we said in the show. Study, research, practice, train, do courses, watch people, learn from people. Don't be scared to say when you don't understand something. It's really important that if you're going to come into this field and you want to do this sort of work, that you do it the right way and you make sure that you've got all of the education behind you, and that you know that when you do it, you're going to be doing it right. Okay, so just don't rush into things. Don't be so quick to try and get everything done. It's okay for it to take time, okay, because then it means that it's thorough and you're doing your work properly, okay. And through my experiences that I had in that house, me and my friend, we did stop talking, but we've started talking again now. And she told me about putting all of her my videos I'd got back up, so I've put them all back up on my channel. But what I'm thinking is, in the week, maybe once or twice in the week, I'm going to do just a show showing you some of the footage of the night and the day that I'd done the exorcism. Just a couple of 20-minute videos. It's just 2 videos because for the rest of it we couldn't live because of how bad it was and the stuff that was going on. And when we was going to film in the attic, after a while it decided to switch everything off and we couldn't get back onto live. So we've got them videos. I'll show you them. And then I'm going to show you some of the nice investigations we've done there after we'd cleansed the house. It's me just there with them. And I do a few investigations. There's some amazing bits on there with orbs and everything. So I'm going to be showing some of their videos over the next couple of days. And going to be showing you all of that and what I went through to go through that, and just show you the other side of what I do, because you see me on here talking and educating you, but I want you to see what I do, that I do investigate. Obviously, yeah, you see that I investigate in my home and I go to the church, but you know that I do houses as well, and things like that. So I'm going to show you some of them videos because I think it'd be really good to educate you guys and show you and share that time with me, because it was a very big part of my life, and it was a part of my life that nearly made me turn away from paranormal. So, and I'm glad I didn't, and I'm glad that I've got that faith and that belief, and I carried on, and I'm glad that I'm able to sit here today and be able to educate and give you guys the possibility to do the best that you can. And I work with some of the most amazing people on here as well. My pups is the most extraordinary man ever, and his abilities go beyond. And all that I've learned from him, and the energy that he gives off to me, and the belief that he makes me believe in, is what gets me through this, as well as you guys in the room. Your belief, your love, your dedication, your loyalty gets me through what I do, and makes this so much more exciting, along with the spirits, obviously, as well. They are most definitely very high up on the list, and they're my angels. And I don't think I would ever be anything else. This is who I am. This is who I was born to be. I wouldn't be gifted with the things that I've got. I wouldn't have the things that I've got if this was not my path. So, and I hope that in time I can bring more people together, and we can have some awesome investigations, and we can learn. I've got this amazing company at the minute that I've now opened to public, where you guys can come on and put your own work on there, or you can work on some of my cases. You don't have to sign up to go on it. You just hit the links that I've been putting in the room, and you can come over and be part of that. And there's training bits in there. There's educational bits in there. There's things that you can read over and get a bit more of an understanding. You ain't got to be daunted and think, well, no, I'm not going to join because it means I'm joining and I'm working for you. You're not working for me. You can work on my cases if you want to, but you're not actually an employee anymore. You're just a public friend and fam that are coming in and supporting my company site, and supporting the strange and the unknown, showing people what we do. That's what this company is for now. And I want you guys to come over and start believing in that and be part of that. I've put the links in the room, and just be you. Be you, be true, be real, and don't run before you can walk. Okay, it's okay to take time and learn. Okay. Hello, Anne-Marie, darling, how are you? So do that, and never be scared to ask for help and advice. There's so many amazing people on this channel and on this paranormal committee and community that can help you and guide you in the right way. If you're new, or if you're not new and you're just somebody that needs a bit of advice, we're here to help you. We're not just here to be investigators and to show proof and evidence of life after death and so on. We're also here to educate you and to help you and to learn you. So don't be scared to talk to us. There's a lot of amazing people in this room. Okay, Drew. But I wasn't going to stay on much longer anyway, my sweethearts. Hello, Misha. Hello, my lovely Smith family. Preach, sis. Yeah, preach. Paranormal is the most amazing career and hobby to go into. Don't get me wrong. It is. But don't underestimate it. Don't think that you're 4 steps ahead of them, because they're always 20 steps in front of you. Okay? Always be respectful and understanding of both sides, good and bad spirit. Okay? Have respect for the places that you go, because life in the spirit realm is very different to here, and they can do a lot of different things that we can't. And the downfall as well is a lot of you can't see them. Okay, so always be respectful. That is the main thing. Respect, research, study, and learn to be the best. Oh dear, Aaron, that's not good. That is glitching out. I'm glad you didn't leave the paranormal either. We're all doing this for a reason, and know even now for a reason. Exactly, ODSD, and that is the truth. We do this for a reason, and I am so grateful that the Lord and the Divine found that power within me to make me continue to believe in what I am and what I do. Because believe me, that experience, like spirits and that, don't scare me, but that did scare me, and especially when I nearly died, and I was so close to walking away for good. And I do battle with it, and sometimes I've been a bit down in the past and said things, but this is my passion and my love, and this is something that I will never be without. Most definitely not. I'd be lost. And I like being who I am, and I like educating, and I like that you guys enjoy that too. And I'm glad that I'm here, and I'm glad that I do what I do, because I've met a lot of amazing people as well. All of you guys in your own ways inspire me and give me that reason to carry on, as well as myself. Exactly, Aaron. So yeah, if you want to be in the investigations, or you already are into this, be wise, be true, be real, and don't run before you can walk. Be willing to learn, be willing to ask for help. Always know that you don't know everything. So learn. Courses, books, online stuff. There is so many ways that you can study and learn. You don't have to be under a teacher. You can be self-taught. You can do your own thing, but just make sure that you study. And I don't mean a good 5 months, then you're qualified. Studying in this sort of stuff takes a number of years. Okay, it's okay to go out and investigate, learn the basics about your investigations and how to protect yourself, and that it's okay to go out on investigations and stuff. But if you're wanting to do the side where you want to exorcism people's houses and things like that, I'd learn about it and practice and get advice from people that know about that. Get some education behind you, because you know doing that side of the paranormal is a very dangerous side for you and for your clients. So I hope that you enjoyed this stream, guys. So please look out for the next week. We've got a show tomorrow night. Well, tonight now, because it is actually Sunday for me now. It's like 1:21 in the morning. I've got a show tomorrow. That is at 5 p.m. UK and 12 USA. We are going to be talking about ultraviolet, night vision, and infrared. So we're going to be doing that. That's an educational and topic show. Then in the week, I'm going to be bringing some of these videos from the house that I went to where I was attacked and where I had to exorcism and get rid of some negative energies with some of my colleagues from another investigation team. So I will be bringing them up in the week as well. I am also, because obviously I'm doing this show thing at 5 o'clock p.m. tomorrow for the UK. In the evening, my friend next door, there's been some banging and stuff going on, and she's not there at the minute. She's away for the weekend. Yesterday, there was a lot of banging and noises going there. I know there's some stuff there. So I asked her today if I could do an investigation. So I'm going to do that tomorrow night because I've been looking after a cat and feeding her cat and that. So I'm going to go around and spend some time with a pussycat tomorrow, and I'm going to actually be investigating her flat. So that should be interesting, and see what all this noise and all this havoc that's going on next door is going on, and try and calm it a little bit. So I will be on doing that probably about 10:30, 11. So tune in with me tomorrow night as well. So you've got 5 p.m. our educational and topic stream. Then at 11 p.m. in the evening, I will be doing the investigation with my equipment and that around my friend's house next door. But we hope that you enjoyed this topic. A big thank you to Samuel again for coming up and doing the show. He always does amazing shows, and I very much appreciate his work and what he does. I appreciate all my angels in the room and my teamie that have come in, my A-teams. Thank you all for coming in and spending the evening with us and sharing this topic on exorcisms. I hope that you've had a lot to learn. If you have just come in late, please go back over the video and watch it, share it out, let people know about the shows tomorrow and in the week. And I will talk to you then. The shows in the week for the videos on the house that I'll do about 7 p.m. UK time. Or I might, no, 11, I'll do it at 9 p.m. UK time, because then it gives the guys a little bit more time to get home. If you're not in, you can watch it after. But from me tonight, lots of love, light and blessings. Be safe, be real. Keep believing in yourselves, guys. Remember that when you go to sleep, those spirits creep, and they're always around you. And always remember to stay spooky and be safe, be real. Love you all, and I will see you later this evening at 5 p.m. for our educational and topic show. So till then, night night, guys. Lots of love from me, the spirits and Dash. Love you all. You can message me on Facebook and whatever if you want to, guys. And I will see you real soon. And stay spooky. Gonna play the intro out. Love you all.